much more difficult. Users are overwhelmed by a deluge of apps, and finding TV on the internet is a challenge. So how do we fix this, and how do we make sure the user experience remains simple, even as delivery technology evolves? DVB-I offers the industry a new global standard for television on all devices. With its ability to unify broadcast and streaming, it makes all content available in a unified service list, from the big screen at home to tablets, smartphones and beyond. It gives device manufacturers and service operators rich metadata to offer a program guide, including on-demand content, images and logos, program descriptions and more. DVB-I makes it easy to launch new channels, add personalized features, enhance quality and accessibility. Applications can be integrated directly in the service list, so users can simply zap to the app. DVB-I also works with pay-per-view, subscription-based, and fast services. Devices and services are already deployed. Give it a try. Take advantage of reference implementations, tools and developer forums available online. DVB-I reduces cost and complexity for operators by optimizing the use of all networks in a transition to fully hybrid delivery. Content providers can fast-track enhanced and personalized services like immersive audio, higher quality video, targeted advertising, and accessibility features. For public services, DVB-I can ensure continued prominence across all screens. And what's more, it also works on existing TVs and mobile devices. Markets around the world are discovering DVB-I. It's more than broadcasting, it's more than streaming. Why not see what it can do for you?
Okay, well, it's a lovely summary of what it can do. So, Alfie, just introduce yourself first and tell us your involvement in this.
Thanks, John. I'm Howells. I'm the chair of the DVB's Promotion and Communications module. I represent Huawei at DVB, but my role at DVB is making sure that everybody gets to know about these standards that we've developed, and we also help and support anyone who wants to implement them.
Okay,
Hi, I'm Program Director at Digital TV Group. So it's a membership organization where we develop the specifications for the UK market and also liaise with members for various interoperability and projects. So my role, especially around DVB-I, is we have built a market-leading test suite solution for testing the devices and the applications. So that is basically helping the various stakeholders for the efficient deployment of DVB-I in the market.
And I'm Gordon Maynard. I'm a consultant working in DVB-I. I've developed both metadata and client application tools, and I've worked with both DTG and on the test suite and DVB, helping to run the developer forum.
Okay, great. So, Alfred, we saw some of the use cases on there. Just run us through the key ones that DVB-I can give to either a media owner or platform provider.
Yeah, so I mean, DVB-I is for everyone. If you have content that you want to be discovered, you don't particularly need an app of your own. You can put them on a service list, and that will help everyone discover them in the same way as you would discover any other television channel. If you already have a bouquet of channels, and you perhaps want to move from just having them on a television to having them for all devices, you can replicate the channel list that you have and put that on a service list. So really it's for the transition from what we have today in the broadcast world, the list of channels, to effectively having a service list for all services available. And it doesn't matter where they come from. So it could be satellite, it could be terrestrial, it could be exclusively online channels.
Yeah, and it could be an on-demand asset or even an app.
Yeah, so from an asset point of view, it looks like a linear set of zapping services. But once you zap there, you could be zapping to an app. So as soon as you arrive on channel 56, an app will start, and then you can guide your audience to wherever you like. It could be a VOD asset. So for example, one channel could be your Game of Thrones channel. You go there the first time, it plays episode 1, series 1. And when you go back there, it starts off exactly from where you left off. So you could have the VOD experience, you could have a box set experience, or a linear experience but found through a channel number.
Yeah, and the key thing is you don't have to go into an app, it's just there.
That's right. But if you do have an app and you prefer your audience to find you and, you know, to go through your content via an app, then on your channel you would place an app. So when you arrive there, it opens the app.
Okay, so where are we in terms of DVB-I? I know it's a standard, you know, which countries are using it? And then we've had quite a few proof of concepts. Where is it live?
I mean, it's really gathering pace now. I mean, it's obviously DVB are famous in the past for making global standards, but now it seems to be the third wave, so DVB-I is really taking off. We have services live in Italy. You can go to the shop, buy a television there, take it home, switch it on, and you'll get DVB-I. It's already deployed. Germany's been running a trial for the last 2 years, and that's firming up now to become not just a trial, but more of a permanent fixture, slowly but surely. We've had trials in Spain, we had trials in Ireland, but further afield, the spec's been translated into Chinese, so they're quite interested over in Asia. Southeast Asia, there's a team down in Kuala Lumpur this week doing demonstrations and workshops, so really it's spreading quite wide. Tomorrow there's a presentation at the ITU where they'll be discussing whether DVB-I should be an ITU recommendation as well. So not just the DVB specification, it's now becoming a global phenomenon.
Yeah, okay. So Gordon, I mean, how many sort of channels or apps or services are actually out there right now?
Well, I was looking at the German trial. There's 73 channels I saw in there. But what's interesting about what the Germans are doing is that they're really stretching DVB-I, and as you were saying, they're using apps as channels, apps complementing channels. They're also adding in the accessibility features. So that's a very big thing in Germany. So one of the features of DVB-I is that it handles accessibility very well, signals all the options that are available. And as Elvis said, we've also got the Italian trial, which is really live now. That's getting into people's living rooms. So it's a very exciting time.
And that some of these are sort of almost big national trials like the Germany one. Eutelsat are doing a kind of their own kind of bespoke trial. Tell us about that quickly.
Yeah, that's a very interesting trial I was involved in where we were using DVB-I effectively to aggregate satellite channels. And we showed this at IBC last year, showing how DVB-I can be used to create an enhanced service for satellite use, and aggregating the services and then replacing the need for a set-top box, just using everything in the native interface of the TV.
Okay, so Ranjeet, in terms of the devices, first, I suppose the key point is it's not just television sets to start with, it can be mobile devices as well. But tell us about the device footprint that's available now, who's making DVB-I clients or compatible televisions available, etc.
Yeah. So with respect to various proof of concepts and trials, so there are various manufacturers who are involved. So like TP Vision, Vestel, LG and Sony, so they were involved into various trials. Vestel has already kind of deployed the production softwares into the market. So these are the devices which are already in the market. They upgraded the software to meet those demands. So Vestel is as of now, is the manufacturer who has got various brands. So they cover a lot of brands under their basically domain. And especially in the Italian region. So they have launched and they are the only ones who are doing right now the market trials. The other manufacturers, so DTG has actually developed a DVB-I test suite. So this is like a reference platform where manufacturers can test their devices, as well as the application providers, they can also test their devices. So when we talk about DVB-I, it's not just the TVs. It could be TV with the satellite terrestrial tuner, or it could be a TV without any tuner. This could be the apps as well on the mobile devices, this could be the tablets, and it could be the web applications. So the test suite kind of provides the metadata. So what we have seen is the manufacturers which have kind of already has participated in various trials. These are not the only ones who are working behind the scenes. There are a lot of manufacturers who have been actively utilizing the DVB-I test suite for developing their solutions. We are talking about the manufacturers, OEM. So I think by 2025, you will see flurry of a lot of devices in the market with the DVB-I support. You may not, it's not like hardware dependent. So some of the manufacturers, what they can do, the devices which they're deploying this year, they may upgrade next year to DVB-I. So it's like a software layer architecture. Yeah.
Okay, and DTG, that is a full end-to-end suite, isn't it? Test suite, so
Indeed,
you can do the
yes.
entire system, make sure it all works.
Yeah. So that test suite basically contains the reference metadata for all the endpoints of the DVB-I specification. So various trials have been taken place, but those trials may not be exercising each and every feature of the DVB-I specification. What test suite provides is the complete metadata that is like a consistent behavior. So the TVs can be tested again and again against all the endpoints. So this basically involves the robustness as well, interoperability test cases, and plus the specification related test cases. It complements with the satellite test streams. It also complements with the terrestrial test streams. So it's like a hybrid solution. But if you have an app which does not have terrestrial or satellite, you can use the reference metadata. So it's like a simulator. It exists in the cloud environment. So you just need to connect your app or a TV to an internet without any fuss of local setups, and you can test those things. So this is basically specially designed to fill the gap in the industry. It's a market leading solution. And this helps a lot of manufacturers for developing the solutions as per the metadata requirements.
Okay, so Gordon, what does it take to set up a trial, and how much engineering resource would be required? Let's suppose if you were a broadcaster, for example.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing I'd say is to underline the importance of trying this. DVB-I, you've seen the video, DVB-I is an interesting concept, but you really have to see it to understand it. And what I've found is that decision makers, when they see it working in a trial, they get it really quickly. In terms of setting up trials, the good news is so much of what you need, you've got already if you're a broadcaster. So you have your channel lists, you have your EPG data, you have your streams for your catch-up apps, you have your asset management systems. What DVB-I is about is pulling all those things together. There's nothing really new here, it's just that glue in the middle where you have the metadata. For that, there's various ways of creating the metadata. It can be done extremely simply. I know a trial where just one person did it. Or there are companies out there, including my own, which will create metadata systems for you to try this out. There's a choice of suppliers, they're all listed on the DVB-I website. So if you go there, you'll find where the resources are that can help you set up a trial, and it really can be done quickly and easily. And that gets you into the market and helps, particularly if you're technical people, show to the decision makers what DVB-I can really do for your broadcast network.
So is it fair to say that it is primarily a metadata project in terms of setting up for DVB-I?
DVB-I is a metadata standard.
Yeah.
It sometimes drifts into specifying how receivers work, but it's primarily about metadata, and that's the thing that glues it all together. So we now have availability of both client apps for handheld devices and also off-the-shelf TVs that can do DVB-I. So that's in place. What's missing is the metadata to pull it together. Lots of people have experience of generating metadata. Like I say, there are specialists available. So it's a really good time to try this out on your network.
Okay, but bottom line is, it's a fairly straightforward thing to set up a trial, not much engineering resource needed.
It's a standard,
No.
so
Everything
everything is standardized. There are plenty of companies like Gordon's that have implemented the specification. There's lots of experts out there that can help. So the nice thing about it is that everything that you'll find about DVB-I is standardized, and the interoperability is there. So that means that within a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of days, if you know what you're doing, you can have a service list up and running, and buy a TV from the market and try it out.
Okay. Yeah. And somebody said that TVs will be on the market next year, actual retail televisions supporting DVB-I, very possibly.
That's what we're expecting, installed retail TVs. And so now's the time to be kicking off. I'm working on a project now, which is the first DVB-I project I know of to go true, planning for truly live working. So this is happening, and we've got a year before we get product out there, and that's just about the right time to be getting working on DVB-I and showing what it can do.
And
But it's a sorry, go on.
Just to add to that, with respect to the services onboarding, so any broadcasters or the content providers, if they already have the content on IP, it's very easy to get it on the service list. And the specification is based on the TV Anytime specification, so it's not like a new metadata concept. So this is already been in the market from quite a long time. What DVB-I provides is the service discovery and the program metadata in a structured way. So that can basically help in terms of doing the harmonized solution. So the TV which we have developed for the Italian market will also work for other markets. You don't need to have a specific vertical implementation. It's kind of a harmonized solution.
Okay. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to have time for questions, but last word to you, Alfred, 30 seconds, just what everybody needs to know.
We talked about devices. You don't need to wait for devices. This can be implemented as a web app on any device. It can be implemented as an Android app, an iOS app. It's pretty simple to implement. And that means that even devices that are out there today on their browsers or on their web gallery can start adding the app, if you like. And the app is where you discover stuff. So if you have already services available, this is complementary. So it's not instead of your app, it's not instead of anything else you're doing, but if you want people to discover it, it's one a really, really powerful standardized way to have content discovery.
Okay, brilliant. All right. Okay, so it's not questions, but I think you're all here until the break, aren't you? So if you want to grab anyone, then do then. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you to my panel.